Our people, without the knowledge of the past history, origin, and culture, is like a tree without roots. Welcome to Your Image, your public relations program on TV. Today, we are going down to the roots. We are going to discover ourselves. And that goes me to inform you that our topic for today is culture and nation building. A lot has been said about peoples of the world. And without being identified, you are not where you are from. We are from Nigeria. So I have as my guest a culture enthusiast and dramatist in person of Yinka Solid Karim. We call him YS Karim. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I also have with me a female. I try to balance. And today I have, what do I call you, a damsel or, okay, a queen, so to say, the person of Mrs. Taiwo Odebi. Mrs. Taiwo Odebi is the head teacher. Vivian is a school administrator and the head teacher. Vivian is a group of schools. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
It's nice having you.
My pleasure, sir.
And I can see you are resplendent in cultural attire.
Of course.
Nice having you.
Thank you.
Well, YS Karim.
So?
I learned Ogun State has declared every 3rd of February.
3rd Monday.
Third in the year as a culture day.
Yeah.
What does culture entail?
Simply, culture is the way of life of a group of people. That's the simplest definition that will let you understand what culture is.
Simple?
Yeah. A way of life.
A way of life.
Yeah.
But when we want to expand, what are the components of culture?
Let us take it like this. Let us first look at the elements.
Okay.
Just to mention some few. The elements are 5, if I'm not mistaken. You talk about rituals.
As if you are going theoretical.
Yeah, you talk about rituals, symbols, language, and the values. But when you want to look at it critically, when you want to look at culture, you have to divide it into 3 aspects.
Okay.
You talk about the creative aspect, the philosophical,
okay,
the institutional aspect of it. So those are the basic things you have to know about culture.
Well, thank you so much. Madam, it's so amusing and very interesting having women taking care of our youths, our children. How do you see culture?
Thank you, sir. To the learners, culture is the idea, the custom, and the social behavior of a group of people. So to the learners, we have to impact more on our culture because we don't want them to go astray based on the culture. Like today, for the mode of dressing, the way the learners speak, the way they eat, and the way they are being addressed in the society. We just have to let them know that our culture is very, very paramount and important. So it should be taken seriously.
If you say culture is very paramount,
yes,
important, and necessary in an environment, you as Yoruba, how do you see culture? Particularly when you talk of the Omoluabi spirit, what do they mean by that?
Thank you, sir. In a given environment, let's start from the home. Nowadays, today's civilization, when children wake up in the morning, Daddy, good morning, Mommy, good morning, which was not like that in the olden days, in the 1960s. For a female child, you expected to kneel with your legs to greet your parents. Yes, your 2 legs to greet your parents when you wake up in the morning, while the male learners are expected to prostrate. But in today's civilization, most children will not even bother to greet their parents in the morning. They just rise from the bed, go to the bedroom, and they leave.
This attitude,
yes, sir.
Does it have anything to do with our civilization, or that the parents are the ones who are not upholding our culture?
Thank you, sir. Like I said the culture is very, very important. Like the Yoruba culture, which I'm from, we are expected, even the mode of dressing, supposed to be, the dress is supposed to be okay, because the Yoruba they says, even the sin is on your lojo. Even some parents nowadays, because of the civilization, they dress anyhow. They believe, due to their mode of dressing, if you are not putting on skimpy gown, naked tops, you are not nicely dressed. But today, we want our learners to know, we want to inculcate it to them, that their mode of dressing also speak about their culture. The way you dress, you shall be addressed. So even our parents are not helping our learners. We have some parents that will make edu of dreadlock for the kids at their early stage, which is very, very wrong. Olden days, our parents, they do weaving, they do kolese, they do koroba. But nowadays, you even see some male learners putting on dread and having all sorts of hairdo.
And when they put on this traditional hairdo, it makes them beautiful.
Of course, sir.
And if you observe correctly, even the people from the other climes, they are trying to imbibe our culture.
Yes.
Not doing all this palming and whatever.
At all, sir. Like at Vivanis group of schools, the hairdo, it's either the learners do DD or they use thread. That is what we allow at Vivanis group of schools. We don't even accept beats.
We are going to pay.
Sorry about that, sir.
Mr. Karim.
Sir?
When you look at culture, where does culture and religion, where do they meet?
You see, as I've said before, culture is a way of life, the totality of everything. Religion is part of our culture. But one thing, the mistake people are making when we talk of culture, we have to understand this issue of tradition and custom. While I was talking about culture the other time, I was discussing the issue of the philosophical aspect of it, the spiritual, the material. But when it comes to religion, we have to understand one thing about culture. Culture is dynamic. It's not static.
When you say it's dynamic, how dynamic? How engrossing or how encompassing is it?
You see, we're talking about culture. We want to talk about dynamism of culture. There are some aspects of culture, especially dressing, food, that are the periphery. Songs, you cannot escape it, your language. You easily borrow, you easily borrow other people's languages and they borrow from you. What you eat, you can't just continue to eat the food in your culture. Let us take pizza, for example. Pizza is in Italy, but now through globalization, it's all over the world. But the issue when we are talking about dynamism, you just have to be careful.
So also jollof is all over the world now.
But the issue is this, sir. When we are talking about, I take you back to the issue of religion. When we are talking about dynamism, you have to look at the basic thing, your identity. Whatever you are doing, don't lose your identity. But unfortunately for us, we are losing our identity. Like, okay, you are talking about this issue of dreadlocks. I always tell people that I allow anybody, because culture is dynamic, go about it the way you want. But get this one right, sir. Let us go back to the olden days. A Yoruba man, if you know, they will normally shave, and women will do all sorts of this, DD, whatever. But our fathers then, some of them had dreadlocks.
Okay, yeah.
And look again.
The ones they call dada.
Yeah. And look again. Let me say, one man, those you see, When you still go to Ife now, you see some of the palace pages of the Oni. You see their style. But if your son now want to emulate our past, another notion, they shape everything and remain that. You said, what are you doing? You are doing something that is evil. But the problem is this.
I was about to ask you whether culture is evil.
Excuse me, let me now go back to the issue of religion. When you look at it, you are free to choose your religion. Even if you believe that, look here, I don't want to believe in God, but mark it, in Yoruba culture, in the past, you don't have that one. You are free to choose. It's dynamism of culture. But the problem now is that we are not guiding our identity. Let me move into the issue of dressing. If you go into the Ifa corpus, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Ejiogbe. Is Ejiogbe now exposed to us the dressing of women in the beginning? Yoruba women did not cover their breasts in the beginning. But when they started giving men problem, they started to use clothes to cover it. But what is now happening? The things our forefathers were covering in order to protect men, people are now exposing in the name of culture, that because of dynamism of culture.
Probably that's why they say culture is, fashion is static.
That's it, but you still have to look into, you don't have to lose your identity. You still have to look back into where you are coming from and make sure that you are not swallowed up by the other cultures of the world.
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Adebi.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Karim has just touched on the issues of dressing and the like. And you have also talked about a mode of greetings, particularly with the young ones. In their school curriculum, how are you impacting this knowledge on the young ones?
Thank you, sir. We impact culture to our learners. There's this song in Yoruba that says, Kini wo fo le se láyé tí mo wá, Kini wo fo le se láyé tí mo wá, ayé tí mo wá kàkà kí n jalè máa kúkú dẹrú, Kini wo fo le se láyé tí mo wá. As the song goes, we do impact, we do remind our learners. It sticks to their memory. They believe they can be anything they want to be tomorrow without stealing. Corruption is everywhere.
That's moral education.
Yes, sir. Okay. Look at kidnapping. We let them know that without armed robbery, they can be great in the nearest future. Mode of dressing. We let them see reason why they have to cover all their body parts. It is not until when it is being exposed, that is when they will look beautiful. No. We make them to understand that their inner part is their beautification.
That's great. I think I like that. Well, beyond that, I've talked about mode of dressing. When you look at issue of food, are you also impacting on them some typical traditional foods that are Nigerians?
Yes, sir. We teach them balanced diets. Actually, we have some parents that will tell you, my son, my daughter does not take solid foods except cereal. But we make them see reason why it is important for a child to always eat beans, because it is proteinous. Gone are those days. We take eba, we take ewedu, with vegetables. But now, due to some parents' belief, they will tell you, because of civilization, their kids are to take only cornflakes, which will not do any help to the body system. So we try to educate the parents more. It's not even about the learners now, because anything the kids are being given, that is what they will eat. So we try to educate our parents more about the food the children takes in. Even during the PTA meetings, we educate them more, the mode of dressing, the languages. Every Fridays at Vivanis, we did take the assembly in Yoruba, because we try to teach the learners culture also.
Well, thank you very much, Madam. Mr. Karim. Probably because some people believe that culture does not have economic benefit. Maybe that's why they are jettisoning it. Can you enlighten us?
Well, please permit me before I dwell on that question.
Okay.
I want to revisit what Chief George said. You see, we are toying with our culture. When you see, when you don't have a road map or a blueprint, you won't reach where you are going, or there will be delay. There is a cultural policy for Nigeria, and in the cultural policy, something fundamental is mentioned there about this issue of preservation of culture. And when you want to preserve a culture, you got to research into it. But let us first ask ourselves. She talked about balanced diet. Ask the question, eating now, how many of them are indigenous to us? Many of the foods were brought through the issue of slavery. Mention maize, corn. Some variants were brought through Egypt, some through Portuguese, through Lagos. Look at most of our foods. They were foreign foods. While we were young.
So what were the traditional foods?
Look at it as you see. I'll still give it to the Igbo people when you see what they are eating. While I was young, we had bologi vegetable. Who will give me bologi vegetable now? Yoruba people, I would say, culturally we are lazy. They just go for a wedu and omi whatever. No bologi again. All those things. People in the villages, they look for cocoa or whatever. All those things. People should research into it and let the educated people know the benefits. Look at beju, snacks.
Beju,
Beju, where is the beju now? But some people got to research.
I think from coconut and...
Yes, sir, you know, I ate it while I was young.
And the aroma, in fact...
Where is the beju? So, excuse me, sir, we are not handling our culture the way we should handle it. If you don't have people that research into it, I'm sorry, sir. Well, now let me go to the issue of this making money out of culture. You see, sir, culture is dynamic, but we people, we are not handling our culture the way we should handle it. And to be frank, I won't lie, I will blame the government. Sir, the government is to blame. And let me say, Yoruba will say, when the fish is going to be rotten, start from the head. But when I look at culture, I will say the future of culture is rotten from the middle. The people, the general people are the tail. The cultural people, professionals are the middle, and the government is the head. We people that should be telling the government what the government should do, we are not telling them. Our governor, His Excellency, is not a cultural professional. It's we people in the cultural sector that should tell them what to do. Let us look at this. In the olden days, women are really artists. Go and check all our folk tales. Majority of the folk tales were the one women told their children in the olden days. They look into the society, see what is happening. Now let us look at an folk tales, moonlight tales. Let us look at an issue like this. We have drug addiction. We have people that want to cross the street. They won't take the pedestrian bridge. Who is telling them stories with that ones? Who are using those things as stories for them? People, women, they are now lazy artistically. We can make money out of it. When we want to talk about science fiction, why can't we tell a story and make the story people? Okay, let us say this pedestrian issue. Let me just say, let us take into acting now. Our law. Once upon a time, there was a boy.
Time and time again.
Named Kunle. Whenever he would be going to school, the father would tell him that, do not cross the road, take the pedestrian bridge. But Kunle and his friends will always be crossing the road. One day the father just said that, what I can do for you, I'll do something that whenever you reach that place, the thing will remember you that you should not cross the road, go and take the pedestrian bridge. And the father just took somebody, said that, okay, they put it together and they placed it there. And whenever Kunle want to cross, somebody say, tinrin, we say tinrin, sir. Tinrin. Ma koja nbe yen tinrin. Ma koja nbe yen tinrin. Baba so tinrin, ko gbe se tinrin. And there's something we just sing, the boy will say that, no, I won't take that place. I go and at the end of the day, his friends that were taking the wrong route, the car, a bus was coming and he swallowed them up, and that's the end of it. You turn it to science fiction, we do all those things, but it's just the job of the women. Nobody, and if you do that one, you can make money out of it. You get somebody in it, an animation. If they are not doing animation, you do it somewhere, they act it out. That is how you can make money out of our culture. But the problem is that if you have it, who is going to sponsor you? People, the government will sponsor a lot of people, but ask them, how many have they given, how much money have they given out to artists that can use our culture to bring us money? Even the Nollywood we are shouting, people are still sweating it out to get money. So we are not really dealing with our culture the way we should deal with it, sir.
Oh, that's very elaborate and deep. Madam,
Yes, sir.
I could see that Y.S. Karim has corroborated your point on the issue of food and dressing. When you look back, how long have you been involved in this educational activity, in impacting on the young ones, in promoting culture?
Sure. It's been a while now to impact more on the learners, for them to know that culture is very, very important. We do invite some famous artists also that they get to see on the television, but they don't have physical encounter with them. Let me mention for you Ibrahim Chata, Femi Adebayo, Odulade Adekola, and for this cultural day, we invited Rose Odika, just for the learners to know that culture is very, very important, and they come to enlighten the learners to more on our culture.
Yeah, thank you very much. Culture is very important, and the educational value to our youths, enormous, even to the adults, very profitable. It is on that note that we're going to stop this further dialogue. Next week, when we meet, we will continue with our discussion, because it has a more detailed explanation. This is an opportunity for me to say thank you for Y.S. Karim, Yinka Soliu Karim.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you.
Yes, sir.
You've always been treating me. I hope until next week, you'll still be with us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Madam, it's nice having you. I want to thank you. Keep doing the job of molding our youths, and we pray that they'll be future leaders. Viewers, until next week, we will come your way to continue this topic. Remember, this is Your Image, your public relations program on TV, and I am Akin Okudero, your anchor. Stay blessed until we meet next week.